Hey everyone, Matt here. Today we're going to be checking out The Creeper by Steve Ditko, and I want to point out a bunch of things in this book just because they don't make comics like these anymore. Like there's certain things that they have to put in there. Like there's certain trends. Like this is very old-fashioned, like 70s style comic book making. And in an earlier episode, we looked at Steve Ditko's work on Spider-Man. Well, this is Steve Ditko by himself, and there's a little bit of Ayn Rand influence here, but I'm not going to point that out. So, alright, let's get started. The first thing I want to point out to you is this page. Now, look here. See this? This is ad for DC Comics, National Comics, whatever it was. Over here is the Creeper. This is the action. Starting actually up top in the right-hand corner, which is odd because usually it starts left and goes right, but this is starting right here, but it is showing you this first. So because it's showing you this, these next four panels are like part Batman for Adam West and part Genius, because you can see in the first panel the Creeper is chasing this guy, so he gets all the way to Bam over here, then goes over to Pow, then goes all the way to Zap, then to Crash. Now, what I find curious is the color schemes don't match up. Like, they didn't even bother. Like, see here? Green, blue, yellow, purple. And the other thing too is like the sound effects don't even match up on this one. Like the continuity in it is just like not existent, but it's an awesome page in that very pop art, very it's like this is a very odd page just because it starts in the top right and then goes left to right, and the colors on this are just fun. They're just solid colors. There's a reason why like artists back in the day could draw multiple pages in a day, just because I'm not saying this took him longer than like a day, but I would be surprised if this one took more than half a day, just because of like the simplicity of things. Now, I want to point something out. Steve Ditko is credited as half the pencils team on this issue. Now, I can't say for certain what is Ditko and what is not. Like, Ditko has a particular style, so like it's very graphic, very posy, but very dynamic energy-wise, and like this strikes me as a Ditko page because you have this odd, like, I don't know, like lightning or radio wave sort of panels. It's very different than your typical thing. But Steve Ditko, as you saw in his Spider-Man work, like, I think he had a thing with like being trapped underwater, but like this could be a Spider-Man ripoff, but this could also be a trope in that like in superhero books there's like the hero gets trapped in a death trap. Like that's a trope. So I can't say for certain whether or not it's a ripoff of Spider-Man, but I'm gonna say for now it's not. But the colors on this is just wild. Now, I don't know for certain if they recolored this one for this edition. I couldn't be able to tell you without looking at the original issue. However, I do know that they do keep, like the publishers have kept a lot of the production art on file so that if they had to, they could recreate the book with better technology. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's been some touch-ups, but I think for the most part, like this is what I think of. I think of like classic coloring. It's like see here, like instead of having like white spots highlighted, they just drew like straight lines and spots, and like over here it's solid, otherwise it's white. There's like maybe a couple spots darker than everywhere else, but instead of having like very strong shaded out flashback panels, they just have like solid color, background, foreground color. So the main thing I want to point out is like for the technique, checking out like flashbacks, like check out the wavy panels and this section right here. Rivers float, sound goes burst from the bombs, and then I can't like just the this line, this negative space right here. I don't know if it's like lightning or what, but it just gets your attention because like the use of negative space on that is just to me awesome. So, all right, this has been a couple things from Steve Ditko's Creeper. Okay, here's Dogs of the City Lowlifes portion of the show. So we already saw Mark Early, and we already saw the end of that from the last issue, or last episode. Now we're getting to Charlie the Runt. Now Charlie Runt is not this guy, like not these guys at all. Basically, establishing the time. It's the summertime. They opening montage of like people at the pool, kids playing in the streets with the water fountain, and guys fighting. This guy right here on the right is like, see this guy? He is not Charlie. However, he is a very important character in that. He relates to these guys. This is Charlie, and this is Daryl, and this is, I forget his name at the moment, but basically the guy before was Tony. This is Tony. So like I like pages that have full figure shots. Like I want to try and work that in more in the future. Like there's like some artists that have a rule of thumb, they want a full figure on every page somehow. But if you can't tell, they're on a basketball court based on these lines, and here's the hoop in the background. But so this, paragraph 1 is Charlie and older dude is watching on the sidelines while Daryl and Tony are fighting, and they're on the basketball court, and it's just two guys taking on a group of people. And I like this shot where it's just like I don't want to say it's like Alex Toth like, but it's like in the vein of, because if you just have the outlines of a person and you can tell what they're doing, then like you don't really need that much more details. That's how Alex Toth was really good at silhouettes. But alright, scene change. Now they're in a diner, and like almost every sitcom in the 90s had a diner. So, but this one you actually see them from the outside, which is right here. So the thing I'm gonna have to fix in this page right now, as I see it, is they got there's this one technique where I'll show it in another episode where like the word balloons were colored, and that's how you knew who was talking when you couldn't see the faces of who was talking. So I'm gonna consider that, or as a variation of that. Like I might just outline the word balloons with the color corresponding to the character. But uh, basically, the story starts off with Charlie, this guy up here, this guy, and that's not a hoodie, that's his hair. So when I go to color, I have to make sure that the hoodie and his hair are not close enough that they can be confused. But like this guy right here has a lot of girlfriends. This guy right here is very shy. He doesn't have a lot of girlfriends. So just going with that, that's going to be an issue in the upcoming pages. Okay, there's going to be more coming up soon. I'm going to do another video tomorrow. I'm going to go further with Lowlifes, which is like the first part's going to be called Dogs of the City, which is going to be on Kickstarter soon, probably in the middle of November. I think tomorrow I'll bust out that one book that I was telling you about with the colored uh, word balloon, so we could show off that technique. And there's a lot of other techniques in that particular book I think people would be interested in seeing. So, peace.